Guyton, and welcome to another exciting episode of the StepOut podcast. The StepOut podcast is all about helping you to realize your dreams. I don't know what your dreams are, but hopefully after listening to this podcast, you will do something today that will get you one step closer to your dreams. Well, this is the end of September when I am recording this podcast. So I'm just getting ready to unveil my topic for next month. And next month, I'm going to be talking about fear, right? It's a good month. October is a good month to talk about fear. And October, we have the ghouls and goblins. People come out and dress in the scary costumes, and some people dress in the sexy costumes. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what the sexy and zombies and sexy vampire or sexy doctor. I don't know what any of that has to do with Halloween, but we're going to be talking about fear. What are you afraid of? One of the things that keeps us from reaching our dreams and from stepping out is fear. We can be paralyzed by fear. We can be immobilized by fear in our life, and we will never get to the place where we should be in life. Whether we're leaders as adults, whether we're high school students, middle school students, whether we're 90 years old, fear can keep us from doing the things that we're called to do and from living our life. And I challenge you always on the Step Out podcast. I challenge you and say that I want you to live your life, but not only that, I want you to love the life that you live, right? Life is too short for us to be unhappy, for us to be miserable. So I want you to live the best life. I'm not Joel Osteen. I want you to live the best life ever. He said that, but I agree with him on that point. So what are you afraid of? Now, there are many things that I could say that I'm afraid of, or things that I don't like. One of the things that I don't like cockroaches. Okay, I just plain and simple, I don't like cockroaches. I'm glad I don't have any cockroaches in my house. By the way, I don't like cockroaches. If you throw a cockroach on me, now it depends on how many people are around. When the cockroach gets on me, I may act brave, but inside I may be screaming. I may be screaming like a little kid, right? I may be screaming like a little kid, but a cockroach is not going to keep me from achieving my dreams. There are other types of fears that we have. Some people are afraid of ghosts, right? You remember that song by Ray Parker Jr.? Some of you may remember it. Some of you older people, younger ones may not remember. From Ghostbusters, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Say, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Hey, you remember that, right? Ray Parker Jr., I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I don't stay awake worried about ghosts. A ghost is not going to keep me from achieving my dreams. But there are some times where things do keep us from stepping out. I can use a good story from the Bible about Peter, right? Peter was initially afraid to step out of the boat, but he did it, right? He got out of the boat and he saw walking on water. I don't know if you've seen my little logo, my symbol. It's about stepping out, like on the water, like when Peter stepped out on the waves. That's where I got the little G symbol with the wave, because I want to step out in faith. But Peter did it, right? He did it. I mean, people use that as a source of failure, but he did it. He walked on water longer than you or I have ever walked on water, right? So he stepped out. He was afraid. Eventually, his fear got the best of him, and he began to sink. So that's what happened. Fear. Sometimes we don't even get to where we need to go. Other times, fear can make us sink, and we've gotten to our destination, but we can't sustain it. So what are you afraid of? Those are the things that I'm going to be talking about this month, and I'm going to be asking my guests in the month of October as they get on the Step Out podcast. I'm going to ask them, hey, what are you afraid of? What are some of the fears that maybe held you back when you were trying to achieve things in your life? Some of us are just afraid of failure. I mean, that's a big thing. We don't want to get started because we don't want to fail. Is that you? Are you afraid to go to the next step because you're afraid you're going to fail? Are you afraid you're going to look stupid in front of your peers? I know teenagers, if you're the parent of a teenager, that may be one of the things that they are concerned about. They don't want to look stupid in front of their friends. Now, when you get older in life, that's not going to even matter, right? You don't care what your friends think, or you shouldn't as an adult. You should have moved past that fear of just being afraid of what people think. But I mean, you would be amazed though how many adults still have that in the back of their mind. I think I've kind of gotten over it. I don't want people to think bad of me, but the position that I work in, I work as the chief operating officer of a religious institution. I plan their national convention. And so I deal with finances. I deal with, at an event, I kind of touch people's sacred cows. And so people get upset with some of the decisions that I make quite often. And people may not like me. I don't know. Maybe if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you like me, and you're like, how can they not like you, Glenn? I don't know. Some people may not like me, but I'm okay with that, because I feel like you have to make the decisions that are right, decisions that you can live with, decisions that you are comfortable with, and you can't be afraid of people when you are in a leadership position. You can't be afraid of people, because people will be all over the place, and they may love you one day and they may hate you the next day, but eventually you will have to live with the decisions that you make. So I want you to think about some of the things that you want to do in your life. What are your goals? What are your dreams? Is fear of failure keeping you from achieving, from stepping out and doing the thing that you want to do? Is it fear of people that's keeping you boxed up and not allowing you to fully live out the life that you are called to live? Maybe it's just fear. Maybe you have been poor in your life, so you're very cautious about finances and you don't want to take those risks, so you're risk adverse. And sometimes fear can be a good thing, right? Fear can be a good thing. If you're walking around late at night and you hear a noise, you may need to run, right? So you may need to run. That's like, okay, it's dark, it's a bear that's going to eat me, and I'm scared, I need to run. So that's when fear is healthy. But when fear keeps you from going to the place that you're called to go, it can be problematic. I'll give an example from my life. That I did achieve, but I actually have jumped out of an airplane 5 times. So some of you, my friends that are in the military, you may have done it also. So you're saying I'm not impressed. But for others of you, that may be a big deal, right? Jumping out of an airplane 6,000 feet above ground level can be quite a scary thing. You have a parachute, you've prepared, but the first thing you have to do is you have to jump out of the plane. And a funny thing about it, the first time that you get ready to jump out of the plane, you know what you're afraid of? You're afraid of falling out of the plane too early. You don't want to fall out of the plane early. You don't want to jump out of the plane until it's time for you to jump out of the plane. But you're all prepared, right? You have your parachute on. Your jump instructor is standing over you. But in order to execute everything that you've prepared for, all of the training, and to utilize that chute on your back, you have to take that first step. You have to jump out of the plane. You get ready. They say, stand at the door. And then they pop you on your butt, and you're floating, you're flying in the air. And, after that, it's peaceful. When that parachute comes open, you're like, it was so worth it. But it's that first step, that first jump out of the door, which can be challenging. So today, again, I don't know what your dreams are, but this upcoming month, in the month of October, we're going to be talking about fears and maybe giving you some tools on how you can overcome those fears to reach out and achieve your dreams. A lot of us are apprehensive about the transitions in our life. We're scared to change. I'm reading a book right now that talks about immunity to change. So it's difficult. I know it's difficult to make changes in your life. You get settled in your life. You have other people in your life. You have kids. You have a spouse, and all those things can make us a little risk adverse. It makes us a little afraid about taking risk and challenging ourselves. But if we prepare ourselves, that's one of the best ways to overcome fear is preparation. Prepare for the transitions that you want to make. Prepare for where you want to go in life, and that will help you overcome those fears that you have. So thank you for joining me today for this episode of the Step Out podcast. Again, my name is Glen Guyton. You can follow this podcast on Stitcher Radio or on iTunes, or just check it out at glenguyton.com. And if you are ever in the need of a speaker for your college, your youth ministry, or for your organization, feel free to give me a call. Glen Guyton. Thank you. And I don't know what your dreams are, but I hope that you do something today. Step out and live out the life that you're called to.